Good morning all of you, and today's topic we are going to study about components. Okay, so this is comes under basic building block. Okay, so what exactly the basic definition of a component? I was telling you the example of a pen drive or a CD. Okay, if you remember that, easily you can write the definition of a component. So the component is the physical replaceable part having the logical things in it. And will it exist on its own, or is it dependent or independent? Since a pen drive cannot work on its own, it cannot depend on itself, since it has to be installed or kept on some device where it is compatible to. Okay, so that's why it's a dependent device. Okay, so it has to be connected to a node or a system. Node means server, we say generally. Okay, so here in conceptual model usually we say it as node. Okay, so this is a basic definition of a component. Graphically, how do we give a component? Two tabbed folder, we say. Okay, so moving on to the details of today's topic. So we'll be learning about components, interfaces and their realization, and then modeling executables and libraries, tables, files and documents, application program interface and source code, mapping between logical and physical models. So there are some modeling techniques here, but the basic definitions we come across components, interfaces and their realization. Okay, so the basic definition which I was saying you, but when I say a pen drive is having some logical things in it, what is that logical format? Logical format is nothing but which are in the world of bits, how the system can read the content. Okay, so those will be converted into binary. So the format what a pen CD, the contents are going to stored in binary format. So that's why we call components live in the material of world of bits, and they are also important basic building blocks in modeling the physical aspects of the system. As it is a physical component, so we are saying it as physical aspect of the system. And this is the basic definition: physical replaceable part of the system that conforms to and provide the realization for set of interfaces. So maybe by now you are very much familiar with this terminology. Realization of set of interfaces. Interfaces will have abstract methods, and those methods can be implemented using components. So here when I say a component which can realize an interface means a component having DLLs, okay, or .exes. So such DLL or EXE can implement the interfaces. So that's why we say they provide the realization of set of interfaces through which using components interfaces are implemented. So that's why we say realization of set of interfaces. And the graphical notation of a component is two tabs. So this boxes we call it as two tabs, and it's like a folder. Okay, and usually we name the component. So this is the general aspect. So let's see the details of components too. So the first part of this components chapter about terms and concepts, the terminology what are related to components. So the basic definition what we have just done with, and graphically a component is defined as a rectangle with tabs, or we say two tab folder. Okay, so under terminology, the first names. See how we have given a name to other basic building blocks. So here we can also name components. And why exactly we name any basic building block? Distinguish from the other components. And a name can be a textual string. A name can be a textual string, and the name it can be of any one form. Either it can be a simple name or a path name. If a name of a component is just a single textual string, then we call it as a simple name. Whereas a component is living in which path or in which package it belongs to. If you are able to show that in the name, so then we call it as a path name. So let's see the graphical notations of the simple names and path names for components also. Okay, so simple names. So agent is the component name and dot jar. Okay, so these are what we call it as the simple name, just giving a string, and extension can be anything, some logical component there. Okay, some logical things in this component. Okay, whereas here it is a linking libraries, DLL, and this one, so these two things we can say it as a simple names, whereas the second one extended components, or otherwise we can say path names, extended or path names. When we say about a path name, so a component belongs to which is existing or living in which package if you are able to show. So then it is a extended component, or we can say path names, simple names and path names. Okay. Moving on to the second terminology, that is about components and classes. Components and classes. So in most of the cases, components and classes are almost the same. In what way it is same? Both have names, both can realize the set of interfaces, and both can participate in the relationships, different relationships like dependency, generalization and association, and both can be nested. Okay, so they can be nested, and both can have instances, both can participate in interaction, and there are many things which are common between a components and a class, but there is something which are logically significantly different. Significantly they are different in few ways. So first one, when we see, as class represent the logical abstraction of the system, and whereas component is nothing but physical things that lives in the world of bits. Okay, so this is, class is a logical abstraction, whereas components is a physical thing. So there itself is the main difference. And in short way we can say components live on nodes. We are seeing this terminology, component live on nodes. A component means like a pen drive or a CD or some physical part which is having some logical things in that. Okay, pen drive alone it cannot play the songs or the movie or what your logical things you are carrying in that. It has to be kept on the device to which it is compatible to, where you have the slot for that pen drive. So then only you can view or listen to what the logical components are there. So that's why components live on nodes. They are depending on some physical device in which they are compatible to. Okay, whereas classes itself are logical. Okay, they live within the system. Okay, so that is the major difference, the first difference, which is significantly we can say the first point, the difference here between component and classes, whereas class is a logical abstraction, whereas component is it's a physical thing and which lives on the nodes, which is dependent on, it's not independent. But whereas classes, they may not depend on any other device, they work within the system. Okay, so that is the first point. Moving on to the second one, components represent physical packaging of logical components. So physical packaging of logical components means, so physical means a pen drive. Logical components in that means maybe the songs or a movie. So they are in logical format in the physical device. In a pen drive, you may load songs, but songs directly you cannot see, they are in some logical format within that pen drive. So that's why we call physical packaging of logical things. Okay, and are at different levels of abstraction. So different levels of abstraction means based on the content. So it can be either a movie or a song or any other programs or a record or some content or some description. So anything you may carry in a physical drive or physical part, which we call it as a component. Okay, so though a component is a physical one, but the contents in that is logical. So that you have to remember. Okay, and then the third one, classes have attributes and operations directly. So we the notation for a class name, what are the attributes? Attribute means the properties which are exhibited by that class, we say as attributes, and operations are nothing but the actions performed by that class, we call it as operations. Okay, so that's how we have directly the attributes and operations for a particular class. But whereas components, we have only operations. Okay, and these operations are used to implement the interfaces. Abstract methods can use this methods which are available within the components. That is what we say operations. Okay, so these are the three differences. See, maybe in common few things are there, like name, they have the different relationships, they can realize the set of interfaces, many more things what we can talk which are in common with respect to component and class. But they are significantly, clearly we can see there are some differences which are very important. The first thing is this is logical abstraction and this is physical component. And the second one is a physical part which is having logical things in that. And then third one, classes have attributes and operations directly, whereas components have only operations, and using those operations, interfaces can be implemented. Okay, so these are the three differences and which are important. Okay, so here the example is given. So this is a component, fraud agent.dll. Okay, so this is some linking library where they can detect the fraud agent. For that, this component is having the logical things of DLL. Okay, so this may depend on few classes. So directly .dll cannot be implemented. It is existing, some service is there. So that can be implemented using some either interface or a class. Okay, so here we have fraud agent, fraud policy, pattern search. So for what you are searching, what is the policy existing in order to get or check for the fraud, and fraud agent, how you are able to detect the fraud agent. Okay, so that's why this component is depending on these classes. Okay, so that's the relation between a components and class. So this is a just example where we are trying to show the combination of components and classes. Okay, so then moving on to components and interfaces. Components and interfaces. I was telling you that An interface is an abstract method. A component will have some operation, some method. Okay, so using that an interface can be implemented. That is what we say interfaces are realized through components. So that's what we are showing graphically in a visualization format. Okay, image.java, which is depending on image observer interface. Okay, and this also is connected to component.java. Okay, so this is the simple LEDed format of an interface. The same thing, if at all we want to show the details of this, what are its operations and all, when we want to show, then we can give the interface in the expanded format. So this remains the same, this remains the same, but here we are this interface we are showing in the expanded format. And what are the different operations? So what exactly we are doing? We are updating the image, that is the operation. So that is what image depending on this interface, and in turn this interface is used by component.java. Okay, so here we are showing component.java is realized through this interface, or this methods whichever are there in this component are applied for the abstract methods of this interface. That's why we give realization. And then dependency. So this means the same. Okay. So that is what we can talk about interfaces and components. So the same things what we were learning till now. So an interface that a component realizes is called export interface. So which are existing in public. So public whatever we have, so they are export. Okay, an interface that component uses, they are called import. So when we want, we are importing the packages to our code. So similarly the same thing it will be applied to the interfaces and components too. Okay, and then the fourth terminology under components chapter is about binary replaceability. Okay, so here if at all when we are creating a system with components, then to evolve the system or to update the system, so you need not replace the old ones. Okay, without rebuilding. So we can add new components. Instead of doing replacing old ones and rebuilding, we add new components to the system. So that is what we call it as binary replaceability. In order to execute anything within the system, so it should be in the binary format. That binary format we can replace by using what? Components. Okay, so that is what we are studying under this heading, binary replaceability. So the first one, a component is physical, which lives in the world of bits, but not the theoretical components, or it's not the English. Okay, so it lives in the world of bits, not the concepts. And then moving on to the second one, component is replaceable. Okay, so in a pen drive you are carrying one software which is older one. So that can be deleted and you can use the same pen drive to get a new software in that if it can be accommodated. Yes. So that is what we are saying, it can be replaceable. A component can be replaceable. In another way also we can say. So a component with older version, that pen drive can be replaced with another pen drive which is having new things. Okay, so that is what we say about component is replaceable, and such things we can do in object models like COM, enterprise Java beans and all. Okay. So moving on to third one, a component is part of a system. See, when a pen drive is kept into the pen drive slot for a system, so it's becoming a part of the system. Okay, so what things you want to view the contents in that, and what you want to extract, or what you want to get into your system you can take, or what you want to keep from your system to a component, it can be done. Okay, so that's how it becomes a part of a system. And whereas fourth one, a component conforms to and provide the realization of set of interfaces. So this point many times I repeated, but still an interface is an abstract method. Abstract method depends on the contents where it can get the logical aspects. It can be getting from a component or a class. Okay, so that is what we say a component conforms to and provide the realization of set of interfaces. Okay, so this is the fourth terminology. So let's move on to the next one, fifth terminology, that is about kinds of components. So here we have three kinds of components. We have learnt what is a component, but in a component also based on the component contents. So a pen drive can carry different logical things in that. Okay. So based on the content in that component, so they are named differently. Okay. So here we have three things. One is deployment component, work product component, and execution components. So deployment component. Okay. So these components are sufficient to form executable systems such as DLLs and EXEs. Deployment means runtime. So in order to, when the system during runtime, what are the things are used by the system in order to execute? At that time, what components having those contents may be .exes and .dlls only. So that's why these components, we call them as deployment components. If a component is having .dll or .exe, and when these are used, mostly these things will be used during runtime. Runtime means deployment only. So such things we call it as deployment components. Okay. So moving on to the second one, work product component. See, work product means it's nothing but residue of development process. So in the development process, you may have some partial residues or some partial end products. So such things we call it as residue of development process, and things are source code, data files from which deployment components created. Okay, so directly deployment cannot be done. So based on some source and its stages, finally it goes for deployment. So the things which are used for developing or the components when they have some source code or some data files, the basic initial ones to create some code before going for deployment, the initial stage. So that we call it as work product components. In order to work, we need some products. Okay, so those products, work products, which if at all they exist in a component, then we call it as work product component. Okay, so this will be during the initial stages of the software development. And then moving on to third one, execution component. So these execution components are created as a consequence of executing systems such as COM objects, which are instantiated from a DLL. Say when during runtime, so when .dll is initiated, so in order to execute this service whichever is there, so it may need some COM objects. So such things we call it as execution components. Okay, and then organizing components. as we had organizing the things, many basic building blocks we have studied. So in that scenario, we learnt about organizing classes, organizing use cases. Okay, so similarly, we have organizing components. So more than one component, how they are depending on each other, how they are collaborated to do some task. And those collaborations can be specified by giving the relationships which exist between among them, by giving aggregation and the relationships what we can specify in detail. Okay, so that is what organizing or collaboration of components. And the last one under terminology is about standard elements. Okay, standard elements, here we have 5 standard elements that are stereotypes that apply to components. So many times I was telling you about stereotypes means extending vocabulary. See, already we have components. How much more or what you can add on to extend with respect to the existing ones. So that can be done using this 5 standard elements. Okay, so the first one is executable. Just now we have come across this executable components. So specifies executed on a node, the components which are used in compilation time are nothing but executables. And library, so .dlls. So these libraries may exist in static or dynamic. Okay, table. So if at all a component having some database tables, then that standard element we call it as a table. File. If a component is having documents containing the source or the data, then we call it as a file. And about the document, if at all the contents of a component is having a document, then we call it as a document. Okay, so these are the 5 standard elements. Sometimes in the examination directly for 5 marks it will be asked, what are the 5 standard elements applied for components? Only these 5 you have to write. This table if you write, you will get 5 marks. Okay. So this is about the first part of today's class, and then moving on to the second part, that is about common modeling techniques. So here we have 4 common modeling techniques. So the first one, modeling executables and libraries. So by seeing the name itself, you can identify executables and libraries means .exes and .dll. So that is nothing but where we have .exes and .dlls. It's nothing but components only can carry these things. So when common modeling techniques are appearing in the question paper, they are in indirect form like this. Modeling executables and libraries means it's nothing but components only. Instead of saying components, they say executables and libraries. So when we want to model such things, so what exactly we have to do? So first we need to identify the physical system. And what are the technical configuration managements and how to reuse those issues. And then model any executables and libraries as components. Okay, so using appropriate standard elements. So either it can be executable, either it can be a file, either it can be a document, or either it can be a table, library. So based on the contents, what that standard stereotype what you want to apply there. Okay, and it's important to manage the scenes in your system. So scenes, the different views in what perspective you are looking at and their significance. Okay, and the necessary things to communicate your intent. So what exactly we want to communicate using that diagram. So that has to be emphasized on. And not only that, we can give the relationship among these executables, libraries, interfaces and all. Okay. So let's see an example for this. Set of components drawn from A personal productivity tool. Okay, if you see this example here, animator.exe. Okay, in order to do some animations, so in a component, a physical replaceable binary form of .exe we are carrying. Just having this, the implementation of animator may not be done. But when it is attached to the system as a part, so it needs some of the other .dlls also, like window frames, render.dll, ray trace. Okay. So this is nothing but modeling executables and libraries. So one executable which is in component, when it have to be implemented, so it is depending on the things which are available within the system for that implementation. Okay, and its version, name and other details we can give it as a constraint, as we have done for the other diagram. So similarly it applies for the component diagrams also. The second one, modeling tables, files and documents. So we have come across this files and documents. It's nothing but we can do in components only. Okay, a component can have the standard elements as tables or files, or it can be a document. So in order to model such things, so what exactly we need to take in care? Okay, so here in order to model this, so the same thing, first identify the components that are part of the physical implementation of the system, and then things as components, and which are the ones which can be used for implementation, and which are new kinds of artifacts. Artifacts here are nothing but, see, the other name for components is nothing but artifacts. Don't get confused, please make note of this. So components are also called as artifacts sometimes, or maybe in the syllabus also instead of artifact or components, they have used the terminology as artifacts. But when it comes to the textbook details, they were saying about the components. But it's one and the same. Please make a note of it. If at all the terminology changes, it's not a different one, it's the same. Okay. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, since this is a 25th chapter, I want everyone to be thorough with this. Why? Because this is included in Unit 1 and Unit 3. Okay, so learning one chapter, you are doing a part of 2 units. Either it may come in Unit 1 or in Unit 3. Okay. And the necessary intent. So what exactly you want to communicate to this diagram, it has to be clearly given, and their relationships, and we can give the relationship specifications also. So example, so the same example, animator.exe they are taking. So here in order to implement this, so this component is depending on many other docs. Okay, so in order to initiate .exe, first animator.hlp is for help. So what exactly this, where it can be used and all the details we'll get. See, whenever we want to install any software, .exe will click, or if we don't know, so along with this .exe, so you have some other files, right, like this. Maybe if a Word document for help, a Word document for initialization, the .dlls through which what you can implement, okay, framework, shapes. So this is how a .exe is depending on few things. So that is what we are talking about. Animated.exe, so it is depending on help. So maybe some theory content is there through which it will be said as how this can be installed on the system. Animator.ini, how it can be instantiate, how it can be startup. Okay, and this is some log.dll linking libraries, and this is for window frame.dll, and in turn window.frame.dll. So all those details of windows are stored in table, so which we call it as a database. Okay, and here in order to show the animator itself means the different shapes or the graphical things what we want to use for visualization, right? So that is what render. Rendering means giving. What ray trace, how we can give the image onto the display. So in order to do all this, so animator.exe, the executable is depending on these many. Okay, so that is what we are talking about, modeling tables, files and documents. See, these things are very, very simple. So the only basic concept you have to remember, and the keywords. So based on the keywords and the diagrams, so easily you will be able to write, because all the logical concepts already you know. Here we are learning only the graphical representations. Okay, and in order to give those graphical representations, so under subheadings or under the concept we have to segregate them properly and we need to explain. Okay, so the next one is about modeling an API. Okay, so it's all about an interface. So for which what you have to do? Okay, so the same thing, again identifying the scenes of a system and where the interface collection of attributes. See, interface will have only operations. Okay, attributes here, maybe sometimes you can talk in an expanded form an attribute when you want to show some properties, if they exist. Mostly we don't talk about attributes about an interface, but in a specific scenario, if at all you want to show what are the properties, then we can give. But always every interface will have an operation. Okay, that is nothing but the abstract method what exactly it's having. And it can expose all the properties, what can be realized based on what context it is, and what are the some hide properties. If at all you want to expose them or give them, you can give under attributes. Okay, and the realization of each API, it can be configured based on the specific implementation. So if you see here the example, the same example again. See, not only animator.exe is depending on the files, tables or frames or INI or help, but also using some interfaces. Some interfaces can be realized using this .exe. Okay, so iScripts, iRendering, iModels, iApplication. So the methods whatever are there within this interfaces as abstract. Okay, so these abstract methods by taking the contents of this .exe can be implemented. Okay, so that is modeling an API. And then moving on to the last one, modeling source code. So source code means, so first part or the important part in the system development. So here in order to do the source code, the main purpose of the component is to model the physical parts that make up our implementation, that is like tables, files, APIs and all. Okay, so let me check. So here in order to model a source code, so on what source code you want to develop, so what are the developing tools you have in hand, So what is the configuration and what are its versions? What are the control tools? Okay, and some other details of that author and all, if at all we have, we can consider. Okay, the relationships among them to visualize in the model. Okay, so here we are talking about the example of source code that is used to build the render.dll. Okay, in order to implement, say suppose I will tell you an example before I explain you this. Maybe in C++, if at all you want to implement some code, so you are going to include stdio.h, conio.h, math.h. So those are the header files. Okay, and in turn, even those header files are depending on one another in order to execute. So during runtime, they will be connected to the source code for its implementation. So in similar way, in order to render .h, so this is .h means it's a header file. So in animation.exe, so render.h is a header file, and this in turn on this, so many reengine.h, poly.h, color table.h, render.cpp. So these are depending on. In order to give the image onto the output screen based on what code you have written, what colors you have used, what shape you might have drawn, using the things which are available with that animator tool, we are going to show onto the output screen. So that is what render.h, source code on which the other things are depending on. Okay, so these are the things what I wanted to cover in today's class. So this is about components chapter. So again, I remind you, components are also called as artifacts, and this topic is included, or this chapter is included in unit 1 and unit 3. So I expect everyone to learn either in unit 1 or unit 3. It will be useful for you. Learning once in two places it will be used, and these are important also.